Hi, this is 8-Bit Jeff. Welcome to the Into the Vertical Blank demo and discussion of the AtGames Legends Ultimate Arcade and the AtGames Legends Gamer consoles. The Ultimate Arcade is up first. Ultimate Stand-Up Arcade has controls for 2 players, an 8-way joystick spinner and 6 buttons for each player, and a single trackball. This sturdy, well-built machine comes with 300 games split into 6 channels. You have the Atari channel, you have the Data East channel, you have the Disney channel, which contains Tron, you have the Galaga channel, I pointed late, but don't worry about it, you have the Tato channel, and you have the venerable Tetris channel. Let's start by looking at an Atari game, Atari 2600 to be exact. We're going to look at Aguaventure. This is a really fun game. I have the cartridge that was just delivered to me from Atari XP as a replacement. The controls and the gameplay are really, really good on the stand-up arcade. It almost feels like it's another arcade game, which of course it was never an arcade, but it's made really well. I love Atari 2600s on this arcade. Next up is Asteroids by Atari, the coin-op version. I really like this game. I like the control using the stick to go left and right and 2 buttons to fire and thrust. What I don't like are the vectors that kind of crawl a little bit. Now, it's much more crisp than it looks on this screen because I've zoomed in. But look at the vectors. They crawl. You can see the lines crawling a little bit as it updates. No matter what it looks like, though, it's excellent fun to play. I gotta say, playing Asteroids for the first time in a long time on a stand-up arcade is just awesome. Okay, next we're going to look on adding ROMs, your own ROMs from somewhere, with AddonX. You need to prepare a USB drive to do this, and I'll put links to the best tutorials on how to do this below the video. First, you have to mount your pre-prepared USB. There's a lot of games on here. There's probably 1,300. And I'm looking for one particular one right now. I think I want to show Arcade Zaxxon. I remember seeing this game in the arcade, just being blown away by the isometric graphics. Now, AddonX games, as you can see, play directly in the interface. It's extending the AtGames interface, where there's another way to play these same games in CoinopsX, which plays in an external interface. I apologize for the glare on the screen. This is the 5th time I've recorded the games, and I have not been able to find a good way to do the light source yet. But one thing I want to show is that the bezels on these games are fantastic in AddonX and in CoinopsX. You'll see it later. And This is played in an aspect ratio set up by the AtGames, which is called Center, and it works perfectly for vertical games like this. Next, we're going to take a look at CoinopsX using the same USB stick. It uses the same files as AddonX.
I feel alive.
The CoinopsX interface is really nice, with videos for each game, and if you create playlists, you can organize your games into many different styles and types. Let's look for my recently played playlist. We're going to try Asteroids on here now just to show that the vectors are still crawly in this version too. One thing I just noticed is that the version that comes with the machine is brighter and it looks better than this CoinOps one, even though both of them have crawly sort of vectors. But also someone has changed the fire and thrust buttons on this one or the one that comes with it. So fire and thrust are swapped. So I keep hitting the thrust button hard thinking it's the fire button. So anyway, I forget which is correct. I think possibly the CoinOps version is correct. Let's play a game that will use the trackball. I know, Road Blasters. This is awesome, and it uses the trackball. And I want to say something about the placement of the spinners and the trackball on this machine. The trackball is placed in a perfect spot. It works great. The spinners are kind of bunched up all the way to the left and right, and the one that's on the left that we use for player one is too hard to spin and press buttons for games that use the spinner. But the trackball works perfect for games like this where you have to shoot and spin, and I even use the trackball for Tempest. Because I just don't like where the spinners are. Maybe I'll get used to them, but right now I have to use the spinner with my left hand, and that's not coordinated enough. Even on Arkanoid and Breakout, I have to use the trackball, but I'll probably get my wrist and everything used to it. Anyway, I love using, just for as a steering wheel, the trackball, and the trackball works incredible for this game. Next up, we're going to try 1943, and I want to show some of the screen modes. So you'll see that if you use the fill mode, and let's just look at it right now, fill will make your games look awful. And fit and center and pixel perfect are other choices. Fit I use for some games. You'll see later on that for a 2600 game, we have to use fill. But normally you don't use fill for anything. It looks like ass. Here you can see that you have the same options for aspect ratios in CoinopsX as you do in the regular AtGames 300 built-in games. In fact, you can hardly tell any difference between using all of these other ROMs and the ROMs built in. In some cases, you can't save your high score. In some cases, there's other things you can't do, but for the most part, you can. Plus, 1943 just kicks butt. I love this weapon. One of my favorite all-time vertical shooters. I'm not very good at it, though. This version of CoinopsX that I'm playing right now is the version 5 Sauced Edition. And there's a team called the Sauce team that is making incredible collections of games with all these assets. Here's a lot of the different categories. They've categorized everything. Easy to find Atari games, shooter games, 4-player games, 2-player games. It's just an incredible collection. I'm removing the other flash drive and putting in a new one that has a custom console build of CoinopsX on it. Well, CoinopsX files that are used in AddonX directly in the console's interface. The individual builds on this USB are configured into folders based on the system. Because of this, it doesn't work right in CoinopsX, so I just play it in AddonX. So the Vectrex build does not look very good. It's very blurry, even more blurry than it looks with on this screen right now because it's zoomed in. The vectors are not solid lines, they are very blurry. Although that didn't stop me from having fun in Armor Attack. One of the problems with these roll-your-own consoles that aren't built in to the system are not really understanding the controls right away. So you hear me hit the buttons really loud all the time. I'm trying to figure out what the controls are. And I do hit the buttons very hard, I know. Now let's take a look at a couple screen-fit games using the Atari 2600 and 7800 emulators on here. The first one we're going to look at is Berzerk. This is one of the games where you do want to use the fill because the other screen ratios do not work right. Check this out. They're all way too small and you can't really see it. There you are. Yes, not Berzerk. But some games are set up right. We'll see when we get to Adventure that it works right. Anyway, let's play a little bit of Berzerk in the stretched mode, in the fill mode, because it's fun anyway. Still looks good, doesn't it? To my eyes, anyway. That was fun. I love 2600 games on this machine. A lot of people, when they do the reviews of the machine or showed it, they talk about the 2600 games as if they don't matter. The ones that are built in, obviously this isn't built in. Actually, Adventure is built in, but this is the one from the AddonX. But look how beautiful this is. Perfectly made. So it's going to be a crapshoot when you do this, what works and what doesn't, and this is why rolling your own with CoinopsX and AddonX a little bit more difficult than using a Pi or Recall Box or something like that, but it's still really fun. Let's check out 7800 now. One of my favorite games on the 700, Commando. Let's check out, I think center is good for this one. Yeah, I don't like Pistol Perfect. Let's try center. Center looks really good on this one. Yeah, let's try center for 700 games. One little note is that this game only uses the Atari 2600 TIA chip, not a... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Commando does. Well, I don't think it does. So I don't think Commando uses the extra Atari 8-bit Poke chip. And because of the amount of extra data you can throw at it and store in a 700 cartridge, you can get better sounds and music. Not great sounds and music, but better than you'd hear in some 2600 games. You have to have the right developer, though. And of course, that might not apply to Commando, but it does to other games. Like Food Fight, for instance, which we're not going to play right now. Let's try a Lynx game. I want to try Zarlor Mercenary on here, and this is interesting because Zarlor has a lot of controls. There's a way to fire an extra weapon with one of the buttons on the Lynx, but I cannot figure it out. We're going to try it again now. I like Lynx games not, let's see, let's do it as, I think center is best for Lynx games too. I don't think pixel, maybe pixel perfect. Center, let's try center. Oh. Center is still probably the best, yeah. So you fire your primer, and like I said, when you're rolling your own with these, you don't know what the buttons are. I'm trying to figure them out all for the Lynx at the moment. But the laser's supposed to be button B. I can't figure out which one fires the laser, just honestly. All right, so here's something you can do. Add legal ROMs. So what I have here is the Legends Flashback. 100 built-in games. This is one of the few ways that I can legally play Namco games on here. And what I'm doing right now is I'm plugging the HDMI from the Flashback into the HDMI into the arcade. And then I'm going to take the power from USB from the Legends Flashback, plug it into the USB in, and magically, it works. You can use a controller and everything, and it's fantastic. Legal ROMs. You can also try to use some of the sticks that they sold. I think they're the, they don't work. I can't get them all to work. They have these sticks that they sell, the blast sticks. I can't get any of them to work. But this works great. So Legends Flashback has 100 built-in games. I recommend it for anyone who wants to play more legal games on this machine. It's pretty cheap, probably $29, and you get 100 more games. Now, some are duplicates. Okay, I'm going to shut up. Let's play Galaga. On Coinops, though, I found another version of Galaga called the Fast Shoot mode. This is one that I found at I think an ice rink, maybe 20 years ago. And I played it, and I loved it, and I did really, really well, and I didn't know why I did so well. Turns out it's a cracked ROM in the machine, or a upgraded ROM. Anyway, that one wasn't fast. That's still a fun game. The interesting thing about the Legends Flashback is you can also do something special. You can put games on it too. There's a USB, not USB, there's a SD card section where you can add your ROMs. I did have an SD card of mine a long time ago. I got rid of it. But you can add a lot on here also. So if you're having problems finding a CoinopsX build and you want to put ROMs, you can do it. And you can do it because you have the Legends Flashback. Right now, because I want to show one more game right on the Flashback that was removed from the Ultimate because all of the Coleco ROMs were removed between the 350 and 300 version. You can get those for an extra $29 just by getting this Legends Ultimate and dropping it in. That's loud. Now let's look at the Legends Gamer 2-player arcade stick. It comes with this rear disc that plays a lot like the arcade, but we're not going to use that for this one. We are going to do something completely different. We're going to use my RetroPie instead. My RetroPie, or just my Pi, has Recall Box on it. Recall Box is my favorite way to play games on a RetroPie, and you can plug it in to both the Legends Ultimate and the Legends Gamer and play all of your Recall Box games right away. And so let's first look at MAME, and we're going to show a really nice version of Asteroids on the Recall Box. No crawly vectors here. Let's find it first. I've worked for a long time curating stuff on this Recall Box. So here's MAME Asteroids showing that if you plug, look at the, you can see it from here. Look at those vectors. Now, I don't think it's just my monitor. Although it's a high quality monitor, this monitor isn't that much better than the one that's included in the Legends Ultimate. But look at those vectors. Look how clean they are. So one of my complaints right now, I'm not gonna send a complaint or anything like that. It just is that one of the best ways to get good looking, at least Asteroids vector game, Asteroids style vector games and Asteroids Deluxe, is to plug in Recall Box or a RetroPie or something else, because I'm definitely not getting them off of the machine. But this is beautiful. Beautiful. Sometimes I forget that I'm not using the machine. You have to hit different keys to get out of a game. Okay, what's next? This is how you scrape for game art. Let's show you how you scrape for Asteroids art, and you won't get anything extra in the game, but it will show you the new, there it is. Once you scrape for art in the assets, you'll get game descriptions and all kinds of things. So Recall Box, pretty damn good. Next thing, let's play Atari 2600 Asteroids, because we can. Look at that great Atari 2600 bezel that they have. You can't see it because I've zoomed in, but I'm obviously using the Player 1 stick for this. And it works just like the Atari joystick. You don't have a buttons mapped for thrust and fire, but you might be able to do that. I'm not sure. I remember getting this game in December of 1981, and I played this for a long time. And I always wish I'd have the arcade at home. Well, guess what? I have the arcade at home now. It took a long time to get there. But almost over 40 years. But now I finally have the actual arcade machine in my house that I can play on stand-up. But I love Atari 2600 Asteroids. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Atari... We're going to go to the Atari ST, which I've spent a lot of time curating, playing with a regular arcade stick. And this is the first time I'm going to try it out with this 2-player stick sitting down as if well, it's a sit-down arcade machine. I could also plug this into the stand-up. Let's try Backlash. This is a neat first-person shooter style game. I still think all Atari ST games should have been first person. I mean, except for, like, your scrollers and stuff. But really, should have a lot more first person games like that. Let's see. Oh, Vroom. Let's play Vroom next. Vroom is just absolutely the best racing game in the Atari ST. And this is not an ST one. This is not sped up. This is incredible engineering and programming on a plain old Atari ST in 8 megahertz that looks like you're playing an arcade racer from 1990. It's just an incredible It's an incredible game. Great version on the Amiga also, and possibly on the PC, but I don't know. I know I've played the Amiga one before. This guy, I'm not very good at it though, so watch me crash. Look at that speed. Watch the physics when you bump into something though. Let's see if I can bump into something. Oh, damn, I missed it. Okay, let's bump into something soon. Next time I can hit something will be a wall, I think, coming up soon. Watch you bounce. Oh, there's the bounce! It bounces. I'd never seen a game on a computer do that before when I played this for the first time. And, you know, it's as good as any Genesis racing game. Let's say that. Ah, more crashing. Yeah, I'm not very good at this game, but it's fun and easy to play with the stick. I just didn't make it look easy. What should we try next? I think I want to try Centipede in MAME. I want to see if the trackball works. I think it does. I haven't tried it yet with this controller. And oh yeah, you gotta add tokens in, and it works. You gotta add tokens in with the keyboard. It's a little more not as user friendly when you're using Recalbox, but still works great with this stick. Don't have it in Bluetooth mode. I have the stick plugged directly in to the RetroPie, the Pi. It's a Pi. This is a Pi 3.5. I also have a Pi 400 that I'm gonna use to plug into the Legends Ultimate. And we'll see a lot more interesting things like that next time.
Thanks for watching. That's it for this time. Next time, we're going to explore a lot more of the Legends Ultimate and the Legends Gamer.
Into the vertical plane, generation Atari. Into the vertical plane, generation Atari.
Into the vertical plane.
An 8-Bit Rocket Studios production.